Hey guys, I wanted to try to visualize the idea that I have in my own head about how parents, students, um, families could craft their own portfolio of standards, um, or maybe credits, mastery credits for themselves throughout their journey in studio. Um, and so that we don't have to say for any particular project that this is a standard or this is the credit which everyone is going to work towards. So, as an example, let's imagine that these 9 standards or mastery credits are the only ones available in the whole course. Obviously, I think we would have a lot more, but I was only able to make 9 as an example. The red ones might be more related to English and humanities, such as producing a range of effective expressions or figurative language or generating questions about historical significance. The green ones are more science mathy, so apply conventions of the scientific method to make and support claims, maybe something very specific to a law of thermodynamics, maybe statistics. But there would be even more, right? There would be foreign language credits or standards. There would be digital publishing credits or standards. There would be kind of citizenship or civics credits or standards. So understanding the impact of local and national policies on community stakeholders. So let's imagine that this was the full range available. Obviously, I think there would be potentially hundreds available if we could really do this well. But let's imagine this was the full range that was available. My thought was, as we enter a project, students would choose from the available standards or credits as to which of them they would like to target for earning mastery in, or I guess in the term of standards, hitting throughout that project. So this is an example student. Let's imagine the project is a magazine. A cohort project is a magazine. This student really wants to write something about the effective use, or wants to write something with figurative language in it, but they also want to maybe apply the conventions of scientific method and use statistics. They also speak a foreign language, maybe Javanese or Indonesian, and they want to show use of that. And they feel like they could also show an understanding of the impact of local and national policies on specific community stakeholders. They're not hitting on these ones because that's not their focus for this time period, but they may hit on these in another project in the future. So I can imagine this student saying, for the magazine, one of the things that I'm going to do is learn about the scientific method so that I can go out into the field, maybe to a Balinese rice field, and model what's going to happen when it rains and how much volume of water is going to be in a particular paddy field. In order to do that, they're going to need to speak with a resident to get permission to use their paddy field. They might need to interview them on what happens when it rains. And then after they do all of that, they're going to write in the magazine sort of a story of this using figurative language at the end. They may also reflect in sort of a behind the scenes video, perhaps, or something similar on all of the politics of that particular place. This is just an example. Another student would look at the full set of possible standards, mastery credits, whatever we call them, and say, actually, I also want to do the figurative language one, but I'd rather kind of also look at thermodynamics when I do this. I'm also more of like into the publishing of the actual magazine. And I also think it's important that I understand the impact of the national policies on these stakeholders. So maybe this student uses thermodynamics in a particular way They study about it, they learn about it, they go use it. They also write in the magazine. They're part of the team which publishes it, and they also similarly do a behind the scenes on specific community stakeholders. They're not focused on the foreign language thing. Maybe they don't need that for university, or they're not that interested in learning Indonesian or whatever. They're just kind of disregard this one. And they're also disregarding right now the scientific method. Maybe that's something that they feel is better supported by their individual project or by a future project, but they just haven't aimed for that one right now. So kind of zooming out, if we provided a menu of these mastery credits to students and families, and they were easily accessible, they were almost laid out in front of students at the start of any learning experience, whether that's a cohort project or an individual project, individual students would kind of begin to piece together the ones that they are interested in attempting mastery towards, and we could continuously give feedback on those throughout that project experience for that individual student. But those two students would have the same experience in the sense that they wouldn't all be going for the same mastery credits, and we would never mandate that you have to hit certain credits here. So the question comes up of like, what if a student never picks any of the math ones or science ones? My suggestion would be that would be unlikely if we have the right conversations with students and parents. So if we build a culture of continuously engaging parents and students in the conversation, of taking their own responsibility for this own report card, this own portfolio, they're going to choose mastery credits that create the portfolio that they want or need. So at the beginning, when they see all of these mastery credits or standards, they're going to ask themselves, what do I want or need when I exit studio? And in the project planning process, which credits might I target to achieve that? Which ones would be best fit for this particular thing? And they would constantly look at their portfolio and craft it over time. Making sure that if they know they need some sort of math to be able to go to a high school that they know they're going to go back to in their junior year, they ensure that they work towards some mastery credits in math, so we can report back on a report card that they got a B, hypothetically, in math based on having done some mastery credits in that area. So again, students would exit studio with their personalized portfolio of mastery credits or standards achieved. This student, for instance, maybe achieved more within the humanities than within science or language. But they also were really interested in publishing and digital management and things like that, and maybe just a little bit in the arts or something like that. Let's imagine these, or civics. These could be something else. And there may be even more colors and more credits available in all sorts of categories that we could think of. This is just what the Mastery Transcript Consortium produces in a similar way at the very end of the experience for students. So these are some of the main categories. So this one's kind of humanities. This one's more math and sciencey. And they do this sort of Wi-Fi strength thing. So this was a kid who, as in my example on the previous slide, focused more on science than humanities. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kind of Wi-Fi bars, whereas their citizenship bars are fewer. So it's a one-stop kind of glance at what the student is highlighted in their time. But no student, you can see the student doesn't have a no Wi-Fi signal in any one, because they realize that, maybe where they need to go requires at least one Wi-Fi signal in one of those things. For instance, quantitative or scientific fluency. It may look bad if they don't have at least a couple bars there. And so for that reason, they would choose to make sure they have bars there, but we wouldn't mandate that they have to have bars there. I think that's the key to what I'm trying to propose. Okay. Look forward to your thoughts on this, and thank you for the time to listen to it.